Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline, and today I'm going to talk about my strangest personal Mandela Effect, the incredible morphing house on a hill. Okay, so here's the house. Now it looks pretty ordinary, it's just a photo I've taken. I see this location daily almost. I drive by it all the time. Now, what's most interesting about this location is originally it was just scrub brush. It looked like this kind of area here, wild chaparral type growth. There was just more of same up here, and it was just a flat hill. And maybe like 3, 4, maybe even 6 months ago, the first thing I noticed was I was driving and I saw a couple of these eucalyptus trees here. It looked about like this, just this one area here, one section of eucalyptus trees. And I remember thinking, I don't remember seeing those. Maybe it's a Mandela effect. But you know, a couple trees, it's easy to miss. I thought, well, maybe I'm just getting paranoid. Maybe I'm seeing Mandela effects everywhere and they're not really there. But I did kind of keep an eye on that hill. I thought that hill was pretty weird. I wasn't sure, but I just watched it. So this is what happened next. The next thing that happened is a section of dirt got cleared. I go, well, that's interesting that something happened. I mean, obviously, somebody could have just hired gardeners to clear an area, so it's not evidence in and of itself. But I thought it was interesting that something was happening right where I had just seen these eucalyptus trees. Now, these eucalyptus trees, you can't really tell, but they're maybe 40 feet high. I mean, these aren't recently planted. They don't grow that fast. It's impossible for them to suddenly arrive that quickly. So first there's a clearing here, then more clearing, and behind that clearing, suddenly there was a house. And it was this house here, although it looked a little different, but this house here was actually over here next to these eucalyptus trees. So and I'm like, well, maybe when they cleared the brush, they exposed the house, and the house was hidden behind the brush before. Still could be explained away, but now I'm really watching this location. So then the next thing that happens is that suddenly there's more eucalyptus trees. This big secondary batch showed up a couple weeks later. I mean, each few weeks, one of these would happen. So that then once the second batch came, I was really quite sure that this has to be some kind of weird Mandela effect thing. Okay, so the next thing that freaked me out was this house that was here that I thought might have been exposed when they cleared it suddenly moved over here. And now it's behind the scrub again, except for you can see it. And it also got a little bigger. So at this point, it's getting pretty weird. I mean, you don't want to hear all the curse words I would say when I was driving down the road and seeing these changes. These trees that are in with the house here changed slightly from time to time, but it wasn't as striking. Also, the house got a little larger. Maybe the last 2 months it got a tad larger. It sticks up more. Another really weird thing that happened was this was all just natural scrub, but then next thing I know, there's this little batch of avocado trees in the front here. And I've noticed these avocado trees are sort of showing up lower and lower down the hill. The scrub is disappearing. Now, these avocado trees are maybe 30-year-old trees, so there's no way that they suddenly showed up just in a couple months or overnight. So this area here kind of pushed up, and then from some regions you can no longer see this house up here. You can from the angle I'm taking this photo, but it's pretty weird. I mean, one thing I really noticed about this is the house did not show up in its final location. I mean, it showed up here and then it moved, and the trees and the house kind of split slowly. So that was interesting. I thought it would maybe show up in its final form or something like that, but it didn't. So I kind of figured, well, what more can happen now with this location? What continues to happen is more and more avocado trees are going lower and lower, and this region here is slowly disappearing. And I'm going to do a close-up of the house itself. And the most recent change on this house, here's a close-up view, is this one just happened maybe a month ago. This house here this block here used to be pushed up right here. And so suddenly this is pushed out. I had thought it was a separate garage, but when I took that photo, I realized there is a connector here that connects this section of the house to this section of the house. So I'm still watching this. I keep thinking what else could possibly change, and then something else does change. So there's something really weird about what's going on with this particular house. I mean, it wasn't just that it wasn't here, but it just changes little by little. It moves around. The landscaping moves around. I'm really curious what's going to happen. This thing is way up on a hill. I've been trying to figure out how to find this house. You drive down here, and it's just a snake of roads, and then you're 10 miles away and you're not at the house. So hopefully I can figure out how to get up to this house. It has not been easy, and it's all like private properties all up in here. So I'm really curious if I can get a hold of, maybe take a photo closer and see what's going on, if anything. I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised if I just got up there and it was an ordinary house. But anyway, so this is the weirdest ME for me. I mean, there are other things that have changed in the area, or at least this is in the top two weirdest MEs for me. It might be good to I wanted to get this video out here where you can see a picture of it, and then maybe we can all watch and see if this changes any more times. Okay, so you got these two palm trees here. I'm a little suspicious of these weird rock formations. I don't quite remember those being there, but they're not as visible when I'm not zooming in with my camera, so I could have missed them. But also, you can see the avocados have covered most of this region, but there's still a few areas that are not avocados. So it'll be interesting to see if those fill in with avocados as well. Anyway, so that's my weirdest ME. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.